Starfield. So, Starfield is probably the most anticipated game for Xbox Gamer. Hell, it's probably anticipated for a lot of people. Bethesda's really putting this thing on the mount. This is definitely, you could argue this could probably be a make or break for gamers that are Xbox, because Bethesda is supposed to be this big this Starfield was supposed to be the big thing. I think almost Bethesda's reputation is on the line. Just the studio itself, not Arcane's and all them, just them themselves. That they're hyping this up of a game. You said that it's been in development for a long time. So, like, you put up or shut up for this.
Yes.
Because, like you said, like, if this game doesn't work out, they're not going to hear of it. And trust me, gamers make sure there's videos, there's memes. They will keep going ever and ever. Do you think, based on this, the way Starfield's been promoting, based on their setup, do you get a little bit of a percentage in your mind of this game might not be as good? Do you kind of have a part of you like, maybe this game is not going to be as good? Do you have a little doubts in there at all? Or do you feel, like it's going to deliver? I mean more like, I don't care if you're a fan of it or not. I'm just talking about just as a game in general with the fun factor or not. Do you honestly think?
I have the same feeling about Starfield I did about Elden Ring, and we all know how well Elden Ring did. So I've learned to be kind of. That's why I'm like, I need to be a little bit more optimistic. But I am still getting that same about Starfield that I had about Elden Ring, because of all the hype about Elden Ring and who's involved and everything like that. And then I'm like, oh man, it's probably going to be whatever. Nope. Everybody couldn't stop talking about it all year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Starfield is going to, you got the hype train. That hype train is a double-edged sword. I think Starfield is going to come out, is going to set out and do what it promised it would do. But there's still going to be a contingent of people who are like, man, this is crap, even though it's not crap.
It's that expectation that they put on themselves. Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
It's like the Switch. It's like the Switch Pro dilemma. Or
they're going to Switch Pro themselves,
mm-hmm.
or as they say, or as they say in the wrestling world, they're going to work themselves into a shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Starfield will, especially if Bethesda can get past that whole, their games are buggy as hell the first 6 months. They can get past that and have a relatively smooth launch. I think it's going to be a pretty solid game.
I think the game is going to deliver. What I think is going to be interesting is the frame rate, right? Because based on the videos, they haven't really shown a really good frame rate game. And I know a lot of people here really care about frame rate, and that makes sense. You want, especially if you bought a powerful console, you're like, I want this game to be running like butter.
Minimum 60.
Yeah, because based on the videos, we have not seen anything other than 30, and I don't know if it could be argued that that game is running on a higher 4K, so it, or the performance mode, so it runs a little. I'm not going to try to deal with that, but I think there definitely have to be an option for people, either frame or for performance and whatnot. But we haven't seen this game run at its full potential. I think they just needed to show something to kind of look, here's a sample of it, just enough to kind of get your conversation going, but we got a lot of stuff to fix. Because who knows? Maybe what if that game did come out in 11/11/22? I mean, and people went with that. I think people can swallow it, but I think people would never be satisfied. Like, oh, they could do all this stuff, but it's still not running very well.
No, they would raise hell like it was Cyberpunk all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, we are just over 2 years removed from the release of Cyberpunk, and it's come a long ways. It's a darling now. But yeah, people would say, it's Cyberpunk all over again, these lying bastards. They would freak out.
Now, and the last piece of this before we wrap up and go into our next thing, I think also real quick is Starfield to me is going to be a game for me personally where I kind of don't want to know too much. I kind of want the mystery, but I understand gamers want it. I understand gamers want to see more because they haven't talked about it that much.
Yeah.
Right. Other than your interviews and stuff, but people want to know more to just, to show us this game exists, right? Like you're not just showing us a demo of something and that's it. But I think people really want to see more of it. And I'm like, I understand the presentation, but for me, I probably won't watch too much of it. I think I want to keep it the mystery of exploring. Especially they saying you can go over these planets and explore and stuff like that. And I don't want that to ruin too much. But that's just my opinion. But what about you? Do you want to see even more stuff of how it runs, or? And I meant, sorry, let me rephrase it. Do you want to learn more of the lore that they want to present for this game?
I don't know if I want to learn more of the lore, but I do want to have some, I guess you could say, reassurances that the game is rife with lore.
Okay.
And I don't mean just I got to read an encyclopedia's worth of leftover data pads. That's cool. The lore that, I hate using this as an example because it seems like a cop-out, but Jade Empire put in there.
Okay.
Kind of some of the existing lore, Chinese mythology, but it put its own spin on things.
Okay.
I want the lore to feel organic, and you get out as much as you put in when exploring the world or whatever. I want there to be lore. If the game has a solid story and solid lore, then I'll even want to play it. And I think it's supposed to be console exclusive, right?
Probably console and PC, of course. Yes.
Okay, PC, then I'll go ahead and download it and play it. But if it's console exclusive, then I'll have to wait. But yeah, I want to. That's where I am these days personally. I want to get immersed. I want to get immersed.
Okay.